What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Stay Hot. I'm Blaiden Kirk, joined as always by my two favorite co-hosts of all time, in Matthew Sponhour and Theo Ash. We have a great episode planned for you all today. We have an exciting guest in Motown Noah, aka Nick, and we're going to preview the NFL Conference Championship game. Should be a ton of fun. But before we get into all of that, Matt, Theo, how are you guys doing today?
I think it's important to let the viewers know we're not previewing the championship game with Nick, aka Motown Noah. We're talking about basketball.
Yes, we're talking about basketball with Nick.
But before that, we'll be previewing the conference championships. I'm doing good. Yes. Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm excited.
I'm doing good.
I love to hear it. And before we get into the games, I want to remind everyone to make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Like, we keep telling y'all to rate on Spotify, review us on Apple, and that's great. But we would really appreciate it if you would subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'm on my knees begging you to subscribe to the YouTube channel. And as always, make sure you follow us on TikTok at StayHotPod for some great content there
on the YouTube channel. On the YouTube channel, I've got a video I've been working on these last 3 days about Lamar Jackson and where he ranks. And I'm excited to get that one out. I think it's going to have
Is it a player breakdown, Theo? I haven't seen it.
It's like what he's good at. Like, yes, it's probably going to get posed as like, is Lamar Jackson still an elite quarterback? It'll probably get some like clickbaity title like that where you don't know the answer. I think I'm pretty transparent about how I feel about this, and the answer is like, yes, he is still that dude.
Okay, I was about to say.
Yeah, no, it's basically like Lamar Jackson is still that dude.
You just spoiled the video for everyone.
There's all the reasons why he is still that dude. But
that's true.
Subscribe to the YouTube. We got stuff like that coming out. Matt just had a video of which NBA teams need rebuilds, going through all that.
I'm finishing a script on Jared Goff.
I'm working on my my college football playoff not good manifesto right now, or whatever. I'm trying to do like a video essay format for this one, so it'll be a little bit different. I'm excited.
The video essay format is elite. It really is.
It is elite. It is elite.
Well, let's talk some football. We have two great games scheduled for Sunday. Start with the Bengals and Chiefs. My heart tells me to pick the Bengals, right? It feels like it's their year. But something tells me that Patrick Mahomes might just be too much.
I'm picking the Chiefs.
Ooh. This is the first time you've picked against the Bengals in this playoff.
I've not been some like Bengals hater.
No. And neither have I.
Theo, how would you feel if you pick the Bengals to go 2-15? You're talking all this Joe Burrow slander, and then they win the Super Bowl.
That would be in the running for one of the worst takes ever from anyone, right? So I'm hoping that it doesn't happen,
It'd be bad. So
it would not be a great look for Theo Ash NFL.
My fear for these conference championships games, and I probably want both of these two teams to win individually, but I'm a little worried that Rams Bengals would be bad. And I mean, can you imagine Aaron Donald and Von Miller and all them going after that Bengals offensive line?
Bro, Aaron Donald against 77?
He's the boy from Kansas, Rock Chalk. I can't remember his name. It's like
I can never remember his name, but
something.
He's
number
awesome.
And I don't want that to happen to Burrow. I do think the Bengals are going to need to play their absolute best game to beat the Chiefs, and I just don't know. I feel like the offensive line eventually catches up with you. You can only get away with winning so many games, or you get sacked 9 times.
I mean, they beat them last time. They beat the Chiefs last time. Yeah. Chris Jones had 2 sacks in that game. It's not like their offensive line was like, or their guard positions were like taking up, playing out of this world or anything. But who was playing out of that world in that game was Jamar Chase. And he was playing out of his mind on like 50-50 balls. And a jump ball or a 50-50 ball when it's, let him go get a chance. Like, even for the best wide receivers, it's like 50-50, if
sometimes half the time. So he got it last time, so he can't get it this time. So,
but like relying on all of those to happen again, and the penalty luck that they got, and I think the Chiefs are playing a little bit better now than even they were then. It's it's a lot for me to say they're going to repeat their performance, because just across the board, the Chiefs have the better quarterback. The Chiefs might have the better weapons. The Chiefs have the better offensive line. They might have the defense is, I think, pretty close. But I rewatched that Titans game, man, and AJ Brown was just torching Chidobe Awuzie, like just killing him. And it's like, he's got to get a lot better. Otherwise, he's going to meet the same fate again. He's got a week. You got to get a lot better than what that was, because the version of the Bengals that just played the Titans and the version of the Bengals that played the Raiders is not beating the Chiefs team. So again, they have to, and really the version of the Bengals that was pre like Baltimore, the Burrow 500-yard game, is probably not beating the Chiefs. It's like the Bengals got really hot at the end of the year, and now they're not quite as hot, but they've gotten, they're good enough to beat the Titans, and they're good enough to beat the Raiders. But the way the Chiefs are playing right now, I'm not saying they can't find this gear, because they literally did find this gear. Like they did beat the Chiefs, but they need to ramp it up.
Here's where my brain's at right now. I'm like, the Chiefs just beat like the literal best safety duo, and like they struggle against too high, and the Bills have the best safety duo in football. And
the Bills are the best team in football. They beat the best team. Like the Bills were that. This was a Super Bowl team. That's what I'm saying.
The Bills were that team this year, and the Chiefs just beat them. But then the other side of me is like, well, the Chiefs were 3-4, went on an 8-game win streak, won 9 of their last 10. The one game they lost was to Cincinnati.
Right.
And I'm like, if Cincinnati could just find that gear again, I know they're not doing that right now, but if they could just find that gear again offensively, get a couple of stops defensively, like that's such a winnable game for them. I don't know. I really do not know what to pick right now.
Well, yeah, they did it against the best safety duo in the NFL, but whether or not they can do it against Eli Apple is yet to be seen.
GWZ. Hey, Bates and Von Bell are no scrubs. Both of them.
Bates was not playing well this season, but in the playoffs,
he's been better recently. He's picked it up, and
I don't know. It's just the Bills just played like their masterclass game, and they still didn't win. They still didn't beat them. And it's a big difference to go from playing. I don't want to make it down to just quarterbacks, but I'm going to. It's a big difference between playing Ryan Tannehill and Patrick Mahomes. And it was like a Tannehill disaster class plus, your kicker came in clutch and to win that game. It's just a big ask to go beat the Chiefs, and it's hard to pick against a team that's done it so many times.
Now, here's the other side of it. We talked about this on the last episode. The Bengals have an extra day of rest. Their game didn't go to overtime. Do we think that plays a role?
A little bit. I think having an extra day to prepare for anything helps. I mean, if there's a test.
The Bengals were probably resting Sunday, back at practice on Monday, whereas the Chiefs were probably resting Monday, back at practice Tuesday.
Right. If you were to take a final and you had the option, should I take the final on Thursday or Friday? Probably pick Friday to get the extra day to prepare.
That's just because I'm trying to put it off. So
also, you could just be trying to put it off, but
But either way, you just feel a little bit more comfortable with the extra day, even if it's in the moment. So I do think it's going to matter a little bit. My heart says pick the Bengals.
For the Bengals, just got to bring down Mahomes a few times. I felt like the one thing that killed the Bills is that their pressure was super inconsistent. They could never quite get Mahomes, and he's, that's the hard part with him. So I don't mean to sound like this is any time you're playing a good quarterback. It's like, you just got to sack him, but you got to convert on your pressure. You can't let Mahomes get out of the pocket.
Yeah. For the Bengals, I mean, they have the blueprint to win, and it's that Chiefs secondary is exploitable. We saw it in the last game. I don't know exactly what Tyrann Mathieu' status is, but lean on Burrow, put the ball in Burrow's hands and get the ball to Chase and win the same way you won last time, and the same way that the Bills almost won, through the air. All right. Exploit these secondaries.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to keep up with the Chiefs. You're going
to have to keep up with the Chiefs. Let Burrow win this game. Get the ball out quickly. Don't let Chris Jones ruin everything. Just, those go balls, when you see Chase's matchup, if you like it, you hope throw it up and hope he wins, because get it out there quickly. Trust him to make a play. And whether it be Higgins, whether it be Boyd, I mean, you've got guys who can win one-on-one that are better than the Chiefs corners. You've got these guys. Yes. Find the best matchup, get the ball out of your hands quickly before Chris Jones can come kill you, and let them win the game. And always pick right. And maybe we've seen it with the Chiefs.
You need to get a little lucky. You need to win the 50-50 balls, but give yourself a chance to go win those 50-50 balls.
You're not going to beat Burrow's going to give Jamar Chase. You know Burrow's going to give Jamar Chase his chances. The last time they played, that's what the game was, right? No turnovers, and Burrow got sacked 4 times, but he threw 4 touchdowns.
Right.
If they have another game like that, I'm going to pick the Bengals. My heart's saying I'm going to pick the Bengals, and I'm going to say, and they're going to need to get a stop at some point. I'm guessing a Jesse Bates interception that gives them the chance to win the game. Yeah,
that's the other thing. On defense, you're going to need to get a little lucky too. Like Mahomes, we've seen it before.
Clip if they pull it off.
The ball pops up in the air, maybe the wide Tyreek Hill drops one, you bracket them, and maybe, Bates and Awuzie combined can take away Tyreek Hill and you make someone else beat you. I don't know. Be really physical with Kelsey like teams were doing earlier in the year. Just beat the shit out of him and hope the refs don't call it. That was kind of what was going on earlier in the year for the Chiefs.
But yes, it should be a good game. I'm going to pick the Bengals. Theo, you haven't given yours.
Chiefs. But again, it would not shock me if the...
So I'm the only Bengals believer today. I was told not to pick the Bengals, but I'm going to anyway. Moving on to 49ers Rams. Sean McVay versus Kyle Shanahan. We get this matchup kind of a lot. And sometimes...
And Kyle Shanahan always wins it.
Usually Kyle Shanahan gets the best of Sean McVay. But with Matt Stafford in his arsenal now, do we see
they were 0-2 against them this year, so...
that's true. That's true.
So you're picking the 49ers then?
No. No, I'm not.
Yeah, I'm going with the Los Angeles Rams. I believe they'll...
But it is so hard to beat a team 3 times in a season. It just doesn't happen.
There was
a 2017
or 2018. I told the same thing twice. The Saints beat the Panthers twice. And I'm like, it's hard to beat a team 3 times. Not if you're better than them. Then it's actually easier, and especially if you've already won the first 2 times.
Yes.
So I don't know.
I do think the Rams are. I do think the Rams are better. I think the Rams are better.
And my logic is that I think it's destiny, and I don't think there's football talking. That's it.
It's kind of the Bengals.
What did it come to you in a?
The Rams. It's destiny. Like,
did it come to you in a dream?
That came to me in a dream.
A little fairy actually came.
We've already seen
while
Chiefs 49ers, so it can't happen again. So it's got to be, and since I think the Chiefs are going to win, it's got to be no. I don't know. I just I don't trust Jimmy Garoppolo. He's just played really, really awful, and he has. You're not wrong. And I don't know how many blocked punts plus Aaron Rodgers complete collapses you're going to get.
Complete C pluses. Let's be sensitive here.
Yeah. No.
Complete.
He didn't throw any touchdowns. He played terrible.
Completely mid games.
He played
now
good.
Here's what would be interesting. You guys both picked the Chiefs, and you're both picking the Rams. It looks like. Do we get a remake of that 2018 Chiefs Rams? Like, what was it?
Maybe
almost 100 total.
If it happens, we'll break it down. But first, I want to talk more about this game. It is really hard to beat a team 3 times, and it's really hard. No, it's really hard to. Yeah. Yes, it is.
Yes, it's hard to beat a team 3 times.
It is hard to beat a team 3 times, and it is hard. Yeah, and again, I think that team is more talented, and you've got Von Miller started a little bit slow when the trade happened. I thought, but he just played out of his mind against the Bucs, and really from the beginning of the year, from preseason, it looked like Von Miller came back and was that guy. Like Von Miller, when I turned on the Broncos film to see how he looked, like he was firing off the snap as soon as the ball was snapped preseason. bending the arc, playing really well. Like it was clear, like, oh, this is this dude. So when he got traded to the Rams, I actually made a bet for the Rams to win the Super Bowl because I'm like, okay, Donald is a movable piece. He doesn't have to play defensive tackle. You saw him beat the right tackle against the Bucs. You can move him at edge, and you can move Von Miller around. And that's the beauty of the defensive line is they don't all have to play their set position. So let's find let's find Tom Compton. Oh, there you are. Let's give you a dose of Donald Von. Like it's just tough. And then you got to rely on Jimmy Garoppolo to do all the right things. I like what the Rams are able to do. I like what the Rams are able to do on defense. I like that they're able to put Ramsey on Debo for not all the time because Debo can line up anywhere and they can kind of do the same thing. It's like, well, where's your worst corner? Debo, you're on a linebacker now or whatever. So, and again, that doesn't guarantee a Rams win because again, the Rams never beat the 49ers. So, but now I don't know. Stafford he just played an unbelievable game against the Buccaneers, and the collapse will kind of take away from that a little bit. But dude was playing out of his mind, and nothing that happened was really his fault. Cup on their secondary, as good as they played against Green Bay, it just always feels like the talent gap they're a coverage bust away from the defense or from that offense not being able to make up the ground is always kind of what it feels like.
It's an elite secondary performance against the Packers who have one guy versus the Rams have Odell
3
and Cooper Kupp. And it's not like Cooper Kupp's like
and Van Jefferson.
Jefferson. It's not like Cooper Kupp's just going to
Van Jefferson's
run by
not a
you.
scrub. Yeah.
Cooper Kupp
Van Jefferson
is
unironically good.
Van Jefferson.
Yeah, no.
Wasn't there a play where Matt's like Van Jefferson triple covered moment?
Yes. I said that to you guys.
Because that was on Cooper Kupp's like wide open touchdown.
Well, it's a lot like Steph Curry in the sense that his gravity is so impactful, even when he doesn't get the catches.
The reason why Kupp always gets those wide open touchdowns is because Van
everyone's like, how does Kupp have 1,900 yards? At least 1,000 of those are directly because Van Jefferson is just such a threat.
Of course.
No, but
he's also on your fantasy team. No correlation.
He's also. I mean,
is Kupp not also on your fantasy team? You got every
Kupp's not on my fantasy
player
team,
in the league on your fantasy team. And the one good one you don't have.
No, it is a little like if we're wrong, we're gonna be people are gonna be like, oh, see, you should have. How'd you pick against the 49ers when they've beat them a million times? But I think the talent eventually catches up. And Trent Williams did not practice today. I don't think.
And Debo got banged up in the Packers game. Debo got banged up in the Packers game. Kittle got banged up in the Packers game.
Warner was playing banged up against the Packers.
You wouldn't know it though. I mean, he had the greatest game ever. Fred Warner played out of his fucking mind.
Garoppolo was also playing hurt against the Packers. I wouldn't be surprised.
Well,
I don't think that really made much of a difference, but yeah,
maybe it did. Maybe it did.
I kind of do buy that Garoppolo's banged up right now.
Well,
if I had a banged up quarterback who was not playing well, and my offensive line was hurt, and then I had to go up against Von Miller and Aaron Donald, it's just tough to pick against the team that has Aaron Donald and Von Miller.
Yeah,
in that situation.
Now, if Trey Lance ends up playing, then the 49ers are going to win for sure.
That's such a far off thing, and that's not.
Wouldn't that be awesome though? I would love for it to happen if they're just like, we're going Trey Lance. He's getting his first start.
And then they win.
That's what happened when they went to the Ravens Super Bowl. I mean, Alex Smith got kind of hurt mid-season, and they went to Kaepernick, and Kaepernick just kind of started the rest of the way. And Kaepernick and Trey Lance, I think, are somewhat comparable, and Garoppolo and Alex Smith are much like Joe Burrow and Alex Smith are somewhat comparable.
Somewhat comparable.
Somewhat comparable.
I'm going to roll with the Rams. I have a hard time believing. I said this about the Packers game though too, so who knows.
Yeah, it could go. It's a coin. I think this one's a coin toss, man.
I agree.
I'm going to roll with the Rams just because I think Odell's been getting better and better, and he's looked really sharp, and Stafford's looked really sharp, and Vaughn has looked really sharp, and it just kind of seems like it's a lot of talent, and that's what they were building the whole time with all these picks, just building a really, really talented team. And one thing I want to say, the Rams avoided maybe the worst playoff loss ever against the Bucs.
Yes.
Like if they would have lost that game in that fashion with all the resources they poured into that team to blow a lead like that, I mean, the Falcons is tough to beat because it was the Super Bowl. But in terms of like what they built to get there and then to lose it like that, I mean, it didn't happen. But I mean, that would have been one of the worst playoff losses. Yeah,
it would have been really bad.
It would have been really bad, guys.
But it
wasn't really bad.
Yeah.
Sean McVay legacy game. I think he pulls through.
Matt Stafford legacy game.
I feel like that's Matt Stafford already has his legacy throw. He could not have lost that game. That is the most important game. Obviously, I guess, but it's the most important game he's ever played in his career.
Oh my gosh. I love that so much. I will always love that. But we have 2 super fresh matchups coming your way on Sunday. You know what else is really fresh? You know what else is really fresh?
Lemons?
Ratio.
Actually, I saw your Wordle and I realized I had to do the Wordle of the day, which I'm not very good at because I'm not good with the words or whatnot. But I'm like, you know what? I'll make my starting word today? Lemon. And it had 3 of the letters in it. So
I'm going to start using lemon.
You got to start using lemon. It's not a bad guess.
First of all,
anyway, tell us
great to play into the bit. I start with a do.
Oh, you're a bitch then. Sorry, lame. Oh, all the vowels.
4 vowels. It's a great
4 vowels.
choice.
It's a cheat code. Look, that's a Mickey Mouse. That's like a super team defraud KD Snake leaving Thunder thing to do to start with a do.
Well, people know I'm an Ado user. And I get it in like 3 tries, and they're like average Ado user. Like
as they should.
Yeah, it's like who cares?
Look, here's me. I start with the first word that pops into my head.
Yes.
I don't care what it is. If it's hills with 2 L's, like that's probably not the optimal.
Hills, I wouldn't do.
Hills?
I don't know. That's just the first word that came to my mind.
Lemons. I'm going to start using lemon.
Sometimes I do audio, which is a little bit
erase.
Mickey Mouse.
That's what this one is.
Audio is a good one
a bad
too.
One.
But I use a
do. Stream of consciousness first word is what I do, and I'm pretty good. I'm pretty damn good at Wordle, so I can get them usually done in 3 or 4, even with the suboptimal strategy at the first one. So basically, I'm better than you.
Anyway, what were you about to tell us is so fresh, Blaiden?
Oh, you know what? I'm so glad you asked, Matt. Stay Hot's newest sponsor, none other than HelloFresh, aka America's #1 meal kit. With HelloFresh, you get fresh, pre-measured ingredients and mouth-watering seasonal recipes delivered right to your door. HelloFresh lets you skip those trips to the grocery store and makes home cooking like super easy, fun, and affordable. I hate cooking. It was so easy.
That's not part of the ad read.
That's not part of the ad read, but it was really easy and fun and affordable. And, that's why I said, it's America's #1 meal kit for a reason. HelloFresh cuts out.
You need
We're
this.
in college?
You need this if you're in college.
No, like it's so much easier than like going to Kroger and having to like pick out what to eat. No,
it's hard.
It's hard.
As someone whose diet is mostly Hot Pockets, HelloFresh was a breath of fresh air.
We're not kidding. We're not kidding with this. Like it legitimately,
life changing. They cut out the stressful meal
chicken
planning.
Chicken tenders and like if I'm really feeling up for it, I'm like get some ground beef and make tacos, and those are like the only 2 things.
No, like they cut out all the stressful meal planning, grocery store trips. You can just be there and cook. Like that is the one thing I think I hate most about cooking is that like I go to the store, I get the stuff, and then I have to cook. Like I'm tired. I don't want to do this now. So, and then like you get to skip all the checkout lines and stuff. And like have you ever like gone to the grocery store and you like check out like produce and then you have to like type in the item code? That's like, I don't know. I feel weird.
It.
Sometimes it doesn't scan though. And they're like, weigh your item or what? I don't know. It's like, I don't know. Also,
my thing is that like, if I do not get it delivered directly to my door, I'm not making something, but it's perfect with HelloFresh because I've got the portions right there and the instructions. Okay, then I'll do it.
Yes.
And it was really good. And if somebody who was better at cooking than me made it, it'd probably be even better. So
Yeah, like I'm not good at cooking, and I made it, and it was great. It's also
the
like
longest
30
ad read ever.
Hey, listen, it's good. It's a great ad read. It's like 30% cheaper than like actual grocery shopping, which I believe because I'm like bad at finding deals. I go to the store with my mom, and I'm like, how'd you shop for so much cheaper than I did? And she's like, I have coupons, and I'm like, oh, I don't have coupons. But anyway,
Let Blaiden cook.
Let Blaiden cook.
Let Russ cook of real life cooking.
when Theo made the cookies. Yeah, but you can try some of their quick and easy meals, 15 to 20-minute dinners, breakfast on the go, 10-minute lunches in the HelloFresh market. Perfect if you have a crazy class schedule like me, an internship or a new job also like me. I'm doing all of them at once.
This ad read has gone on so long. It's like personal anecdotes and everything.
You can enjoy restaurant quality meals for less in the comfort of your own home. HelloFresh's gourmet recipes like balsamic fig sirloin are like 72% cheaper than a restaurant meal. Matt had the balsamic chicken.
It was restaurant quality.
That's why it was a restaurant quality.
I did a good job.
Was it good, Matt?
Oh, it was delicious.
It was delicious. Like it was good. Like I think we got all of our boxes. I got mine today.
No
Matt,
way you're still talking to me.
Please read. Yeah,
please just read it.
Matt, Theo, chill.
I'm telling you, this is gone.
I'm finishing it. I'm finishing it right now. Let me finish. Let me cook, Theo. We got our boxes today. I made the beef tostadas. They're like beef tacos. Bro, like these things are good. These things are really good. I'm not joking. Matt and Theo over here like, finish it up. That is the end of the ad read.
There's no way that was scripted.
Bro, I changed the script, okay?
Anyway,
it is legitimately good. It is legitimately good.
It is good.
I was able to make it, and I have zero experience cooking anything. So if you wanna cook something and you've never done it before and you want a nice meal, it's not bad.
All right. Well, if you want to try
go to HelloFresh.com/stay.
I highly Theo, just let me.
You go. You finish off.
I highly recommend you guys try HelloFresh. I really do. Go to HelloFresh.com/stayhot16. Use code STAYHOT16 for up to 16 free meals and 3 free gifts. That's HelloFresh.com/stayhot16. And use the code again, STAYHOT16. HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. Well, I think it's about high time we welcome the man of the hour, Motown Noah, a.k.a. Nick. How are you doing, man? How are you doing
I am
today,
fantastic. I would just like to say that people don't ask me to come on their podcasts ever. Like, not very often at all. So anytime that somebody does, I'm like, yes, I want to do this. So like when Matt reached out, I don't know, because it took a while for us to coordinate this and for actually to let it happen. Because I've been dealing with it because I've been moving into a new apartment, a bunch of different stuff. So it's like 3 weeks ago or something that you were like, hey, do you want to do this thing? And I was like, actually, fuck yeah, I do. But let's circle back at the end of the month and let's see if we can figure it out. And we did. I'm very excited to be here. Thank you guys.
Well, no, it worked out well because I had a couple people be like, can I come on right now?
Oh, sure.
So the timing of that worked well.
And it worked out well because there's a lot going on in the NBA today with the All-Star roster starters getting announced and whatnot. Yeah. So, and like the trades, there have been a couple of trades that have happened since 3 weeks ago. So I'm excited to have you on now instead of 3 weeks ago. I'm sure there was stuff to talk about then, but I think there's even more now.
Yeah, especially because I got some takes about all the All-Star shit, and I haven't. I've let them fly a little bit, but they're not on like a public forum. Yeah. I fired off like one tweet about it, but I'm going to give you guys something. Okay, let's start off with a bang. Okay, what's the biggest gripe that people have with the announcement of the All-Star starters? Who's the one guy? With the fan vote. But specifically player-wise, there were 10 guys that we were named that they gave us as starters. 10 guys. Who's the one player that people are like, what the fuck?
Andrew Wiggins, right? Everybody's mad about Andrew Wiggins. Where's Rudy Gobert? Where's Luka? Where's whoever the fuck? Let me tell you something. Doesn't matter. Who cares? Doesn't matter to you and me. You and I do not care. You might care in this moment, but in
in fucking, I could say 5 years if I want. I can swear, right? That's cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
If in fucking 5 years we look back on this all-star ballot, hell, in 1 year, nobody's going to be, well, specifically this case maybe, but nobody's going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe, like, Luka's still going to be in. Rudy Gobert is still going to be in. There's still going to be reserves. If you go to Basketball Reference in fucking 10 years, they're going to have the same star next to him. You don't get a special star because you fucking started in the all-star game. There's nothing that matters. And like, sure, you could be like, well, it could fuck up their money, blah, 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 blah. You and I don't give a shit about that. You and I do not care.
I'm going to be torn up about this 5 to 10 years from now.
Listen, and more power to you if you have the bandwidth to care about something so trivial, right? But goddamn, I'm hard pressed. Like, I'm good for Andrew Wiggins. That's it. That's my takeaway from this. Good for him.
My takeaway is that I'm happy that it happened. I'm glad that Wiggins got that spot, because if that spot had gone to Gobert, Cat, or whoever, there would have been no content to make about it. There's no video to make about the All-Star starters being completely normal.
Straight up, if you look at the 10 guys, 9 out of the 10, you're like, yeah, perfect. And what's crazier is because of that, 8 of those 10 are currently or at some point this season have been in the MVP conversation. Like, it's the most like chalk all-star starters we've seen in a considerably long time. Like, you can argue like, oh, should Fred have started? Should Jimmy have started? Should fucking Darius Garland have started? Like, you can do that if you want. But the reality is, like, Wiggins is the only one that we're looking at like, really? But other than that, it's great. Also, I feel like it puts a bullet in the fans for being idiots. You know what I mean? Because, like, it puts a target on, like, you did this. If you're mad about it, you fucking did this.
Yeah.
Well, it's a lot of the K-pop thing. I didn't realize that was going on until very late.
Can you explain?
What is the story behind that? I'm out of the loop.
I was going to ask you to do it because I saw one tweet about it and I was like, what is this guy talking about?
Yeah, so I've seen them. There's like a bunch of K-pop stars who are desperately trying to get Andrew Wiggins in the All-Star game or whatever. Not just Wiggins, but all the Warriors players. I don't know if there's got to be some sort of connection there or something.
Well, I saw the Trailblazers do that originally with Damian Lillard, where the Trailblazers Twitter account said, "Hey, remember when Damian Lillard met that K-pop star that like a couple years ago? Hashtag Lillard All-Star vote."
Yeah,
and like it just absolutely blew up, and I'm like, "Oh, that is so genius to utilize that side of Twitter to get a bunch of." So I knew it was happening with the Trailblazers and Lillard. I did not know about it happening with Wiggins. But the other thing about this is, like, what forward in the West like deserved it all that much more is the other thing. It's like, yes, LeBron, but it's like, what other forward was there? I struggled when I was making my all-star list. I think I went with like Brandon Ingram instead of Wiggins. But like, I'm not mad that Wiggins is the forward, because it's just kind of not it's kind of guard. Like, people complain about Booker. Booker's a guard. He's not going to spot over Curry or Ja. Like, that's what you should be mad at, not Wiggins.
What I would say to that is, I feel like people have said we should do this with like the all NBA ballots. We should probably do that and do it with the All-Star game. Positions don't matter because positions hardly matter in the fucking games that we're actually playing anyways. You know what I mean? So it's like when people are like, well, Luka couldn't have gotten in over Wiggins because Luka's a fucking guard. Yeah, just because he's a list, it's semantics at this point. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, especially with a guy like Luka where he's a hybrid. At this point, half the league is like 4 different positions at the same time. So it doesn't really, you know, and if it's like, if you have to go specifically like, okay, well, who's a forward? You're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. On the Wiggins thing, I mean.
Yeah. I mean, like, I think I can be like, you know, it doesn't really matter. I don't care. But I probably would have put Draymond in over him. I think Draymond has more impact to the Warriors right now. I think most Warriors fans would agree. And they could have done that, and they still would have rewarded the same team. So nobody would have been upset.
But like, are you really voting on the All-Stars based on value? Like,
probably not. You're voting on whoever has the biggest fan base.
It should have been Mikal Bridges as my original take. Mikal Bridges should have been the All-Star starter as a valuable role player for the Phoenix Suns.
I swear to God, and this is coming to me in real time. I don't know if anybody's ever made this point before. I don't know if this is common sense. I don't know how this is going to come out. I think the hardest All-Star game for you to make as a player is your first one. Because it's hard to be like, you know what, this person and usually it comes with young guys, whether it's Ja making his first or when Luka made his first in year 2, and you're like, I don't know, they're really young. There's a lot of guys ahead of them. And then once you make that first one and we have that label over you and we're like, this player is a fucking all-star, then it's easier for it to snowball, and it's easier for you to rationalize the idea of them being in the game and being ahead of, player X, Y, and Z. Does this make sense?
Yeah, I mean, you got to get over the established guys. It's not just, is this guy playing at an all-star level? Because if it was just who's playing at an all-star level, 40 guys would get in. Yeah. If it was just any amount of 40 guys would get in. But you have to take somebody else's spot. And there really does not feel like there's that many all-star spots when you look at it. So my big thing about the all-star game, the only thing I care about is LaMelo getting in. And he's very, very borderline right now. I don't know if you have any thoughts on whether or not LaMelo's going to end up making it.
I would just agree with you in the very borderline thing. And
in the sense that he's on your ballot, right?
In the sense that if he's on someone's ballot, I'm not batting an eye. It's tough this year, man. Like we just talked about, you got Fred, who's going to be, what's weird is when you just call him fucking Fred and you realize that man's name is Fred.
Fred isn't an NBA all-star name.
Matt has brought up that point before.
Well, that's the thing. Like you don't call Kevin Durant Kevin because
right.
He's KD or Kevin Durant or just Durant.
Right.
Kevin?
Or there's some guys who can be just their first name, like LaMelo. LaMelo's can be just LaMelo, but you would never call him just his last name. You don't call him Ball.
Sure, yeah. This is old news. We're past this. This is whatever. The people who would get all up in arms over people calling him Mello were fucking weirdos.
Oh, dude. Dude, it makes me want to call him Mello more. I don't know if that makes me toxic on Twitter, but I am.
You're very passive on Twitter. Like I remember, for the longest time, I was like, I couldn't get a read on you because you would only tweet 6 syllables max per tweet, and it would always just be like, "Give me takes for a TikTok," and that's it. And there's not much depth to the shit that you're a very mysterious person online.
That's what I'm going for.
You pull it
off.
But
really, I mean, it's good for videos or whatnot to just ask the Twitter questions and go through them on TikTok. So that's all I was doing for a while, and now I've gotten away from that a little bit. So I'm trying to expand the number of syllables I can use in a single tweet. Maybe I should start giving. I feel like I at least said something about the Mello thing where it's like, who cares? Nobody is ever going to be confused about which Mello I'm talking about unless I say something unbelievably vague.
It's like Nick Cannon and I have the same name. We can't both be Nick. You know what I mean? It's dumb.
And it would be one thing if his nickname was like the King. It's like, okay, well that's sure. LeBron. LaMelo is just shorthand for his name. That's just what he's called.
Yeah. 100% agreed. I would say, just to circle back to the is LaMelo an all-star thing, it just goes back to you got to look at Fred VanVleet, and you got to look at Darius Garland, and you got to look at surely there's a guard that I'm forgetting, but it just
De'Aaron Fox.
Well, he's in the West, and also he's not been good this year at all. So I mean,
but it's Blaiden's favorite player.
He's my favorite player.
I got to take that into account.
I think De'Aaron Fox. I tell you what, there's been some weird quotes coming out of Sacramento, and either it's not a ruse. There's no doubt that Monty McNair has had a conversation with De'Aaron Fox at least once this season and was like, "Hey, we're making calls, or people are calling. You might get traded." Yeah. And De'Aaron Fox is like, I don't remember what publication it was or what writer it was. It might have been Chris Haynes. Don't remember. Where he sat down with De'Aaron Fox and he's like, yeah, no, it's a business. I want to stay here, but he was very non-committal about I don't know. It was a really, really interesting thing to read, and a lot of having to read between the lines on a lot of stuff. Even though, and it also wouldn't surprise me because I don't believe that Monty McNair is good at his job, just as general manager for the Kings. Now, granted, we only have a year and a half worth of data to even back that up because he hasn't been there for very long. Vlade only got fired less than 2 years ago. And after Vlade got fired, it was only a matter of time for Luke Walton, because Vlade was the only reason that Luke Walton even fucking had a job anymore, because they were like that, best friends. The Kings thing is fun. The idea of De'Aaron and Tyrese Halliburton, but in practice,
If I were the Kings, I'd probably move Fox. I guess it's always hard to say whether or not you would or wouldn't move someone because you don't know the offers. But if somebody came to me with a big pick package or a 1-for-1 player trade that makes sense, it's tough. It's tough to justify a guard who is shooting as poorly as Fox.
Yeah, I think
hurts my heart.
I'm not one of those people who's like, I'd be a great GM. I would fucking suck because I would get fleeced constantly. It's very weird. I was just having this conversation. We were doing a live show earlier, and I think I said it in there. I have a really hard time quantifying the value of a lot of players who are infrequently mentioned in trade talks. Like the example here would be De'Aaron Fox, a guy who we have never talked about him being traded because we thought that he was the cornerstone piece, and then Halliburton came in and we were like, what the fuck? And now it's especially at a point where we're like, what? I was talking about it in regard to Domantas Sabonis. And I was like, what the fuck do you give up for him? Because me and the way that I view Domantas Sabonis as a basketball player who could play for my basketball team, I'm giving up the house. I think he's one of the most skilled bigs we've ever seen. But, like, is he worth, let's use the Spurs as an example. If you throw in Jakob Poeltl, Keldon Johnson, and Derek White, and a pick or two, whatever, is that too much for Domantas Sabonis?
Sometimes it's not even about the sum of its parts. If I'm trading Sabonis, I either need to get back a young guy who I can legitimately build around and be one of my 2 or 3 guys, or I need to get a really big pick package to start a rebuild.
Right.
But if I'm just getting, maybe you could get a number of young guys or just role players who are equal value, but for the Pacers, I don't know if it really moves them in any direction they want to be moving. Because with Indiana, they got to go one way or the other. Right. They've been not going one way or the other for a very long time. I think the hard part about being a GM, though, you can't just make the trades. You have to negotiate a trade. It's not just you have offers on the table. You don't go to Trade Finder like you do in 2K and all of a sudden here's all the offers, pick the best one, pick one that makes sense. You have to go talk to somebody else and argue with them. And I don't think I could do that.
You know what I've always wondered is is there an NBA GM Slack? You know what I mean? I don't know if any of you use Slack, but
I use Slack.
Is there a fucking a thing for it where they're just all hey, okay, in 2K, if you're add this player to the trade block, is that just them in Slack being hey guys, fucking it's Depop or fucking Free Cell or something, or not Free Cell?
They have a Discord channel.
Yeah. Are they hey guys, fuck Aaron Holiday? Or I'm sorry, Justin Holiday, we want a fucking veteran and a pick for him. What do you guys got? And then they just make phone calls. It's insane. I always wonder about that.
I kind of think there would be. I mean, I'm in the fantasy leagues that I'm in, the dynasty fantasy leagues there are. So I could only assume that the NBA functions the same way.
I would say the difference is, have you ever seen someone who is I don't know, my mom's age be able to use something like Slack?
I think with them though, they're around technology all the time. The people around them are savvy, you know what I mean?
I bet their assistant probably has Slack and he's yo, put this in the group chat.
Well, think about
I doubt it's as straightforward as all 32 teams just or all 30. I'm in NFL mode. All 30 teams in one Slack and it's just the GMs. But I'd be willing to bet there are group chats with multiple GMs in it. I mean, if you're trying to negotiate a 3-team trade, you're not telling me you're throwing all that shit in a group chat and just working it out there. And you're Simmons trade group chat, and then it dies when the trade falls through, and then maybe in a couple months someone messes with it by messaging this chat fell off. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, my thing would be if there was a Slack, somebody would have leaked a screenshot from it. You'd figure, right? I guess maybe if it was just the GMs, but he accidentally leaves it open on his computer, and then all of a sudden some dude comes by and takes a picture of it, and we would have seen it. That might be something to one of these fake
we should have asked.
news
We met Ryan
accounts
McDonough
on
in
Twitter.
Vegas. We should have asked him. If we ever go back to
we
Vegas and see Ryan McDonough again, we'll ask him if they're all in a group chat.
But I
would
wanted
say,
to
just really quick. The one job that I do not envy besides GM is the money guys, the guys who like think 2K or the trade machine when they're like, hey, you need to cut this amount of money. That's somebody's actual fucking job in real life for every single NBA team. There are multiple people who do that. You know how many times trades get fucked up? If you think, okay, I don't want to say too much here. Never mind. It happens. Cap guys fuck up. And when they do, it's a problem. If you think a team like overpaid to get a certain player, it might be because one of their cap guys fucked up. That's an insane job that I would not want. But anyways, go ahead, Matt.
no, it's like a high stakes accountant, and that's not something I envy. I wanted to ask you a little bit about how you feel about the Pistons right now.
Sure.
Because you're a known Pistons guy, and they're just getting started with a rebuild. So how do you? Maybe this is too vague of a question, but how do you feel about the Pistons? What are your thoughts on the Pistons right now?
That's like asking a comedian, where do you get your ideas? It's like,
what's funny to you?
Right. You know what I mean? Yeah, the ambiguity of the question is what makes it so fun. I think if you were to think of what a rebuild should look and feel like in an ideal world, Detroit is doing a pretty damn good job of that. This season was a little bit rocky at first. As with any rebuild, there are going to be some, bumps along the way. I maintain that last season was one of the better rebuilding seasons that we've ever seen in the history of basketball. I think the veterans that we got appreciated and valued, traded some of them, like Derrick Rose. I think the guys who we drafted only got better with time, namely Sadiq and Isaiah, because Kill was hurt for a majority of the season, and admittedly he wasn't good. Sadiq got first team all rookie. Isaiah got second team. Jeremy Grant took his game to another level. He also appreciated in value, and we're about to see what that's going to turn into, hopefully. And then you found yourself winning the games that you had no business winning. We're talking Boston, Brooklyn, Phoenix, whatever. You're beating teams where you're like, what the? How are you winning this? But more importantly, you lost the games that you had to lose. You're losing to Oklahoma City. You're losing to Orlando. You're losing to Toronto. You know what I mean? Like, those were important games to lose, and damn it, we lost every single one, and it was great. And then you're rewarded by winning the lottery.
Yeah.
And you get cake. Now, admittedly, it wasn't a year that you needed to win, because we're seeing 1 through 7 are guys who can fucking play. You know what I mean? Unless your name is Jalen Green. But everybody else can play. And, you come into this season, I feel great. It's tough to watch a lot of these games, what with injuries or guys being in health and safety protocols. But Cade is, if nothing else, a pretty damn good consolation to turn on a Pistons game that you're going to lose by 40.
I think the big thing with them, or with any rebuild, is like, you can draft really well and get Sadiq Bey and Isaiah Stewart, and those are great picks and great guys to build around. But you have to get somebody who has the potential to be the guy on a team, because it's very, very hard to win without one. And right now, the Pistons just got their guy who can be the guy. So if you're on the right track, I guess a question that maybe ties into what we were just talking about and the Pistons. And I know we were just talking about, we never know what you're going to get back in trades. What do you want back for Grant if they trade Grant?
So let's do it by team. That's a little bit more fun. Just to make it just structured for our listeners here.
No, I feel you.
Let's think Portland. Think least likely to most likely. Portland's probably not going to happen. It makes no sense. Not. Makes no sense at this point. If Dame was not hurt and might play the rest of this season, they would make sense in some capacity. But right now they don't. From them, I would want Norman Powell and Ben McLemore. If we think Dallas, I want Jalen Brunson, so we get his early bird rights, can sign him in free agency. We know the Pistons have him high on their list. Throw in Dwight Powell, fucking Tyrell Terry for all I care. I don't know. Go to now. The Knicks one is weird because pass. For the most part, honestly, it's just a lot of stuff, but there's not like a thing. You know what I mean? The Knicks got a lot of stuff, but there's not that thing that I want. Washington's kind of in that same ilk where it's like, Rui's cool, I guess. Denny is cool, but another one that I want to word meticulously. The Pistons didn't like him in the draft. So I know that's off the table. Do you want to go get Thomas Bryant and fucking Davis Bertans? Probably not. Chicago. I like Chicago. Go get Patrick Williams, Derek Jones Jr., two guys who are hurt, very, very presently hurt, and probably not playing for the rest of the year. That'd be cool, throwing Matt Thomas. But then you look at Atlanta. I like John Collins a lot. And I'm sure that Cade Cunningham also likes John Collins a lot. Atlanta has the package that can get you pretty much anything anywhere on the floor that you want. I would say the same about San Antonio, but San Antonio's not really in the mix for this. But San Antonio doesn't get the credit that they deserve, and I've been like trying to lead the charge on this for like a month now. The Spurs have one of the better all my assets are in a pot. Do you want the pot trade? Like if James Harden became available right now, I don't think that the fucking Spurs, I'm just using him arbitrarily, like just some high level player and the Spurs wanted to go after him. The Spurs might have like the best package in the league for him. And that's why I used DeMontis Sabonis earlier as like a target for the Spurs. But Atlanta would be good. Just to go back and answer your question. I want Atlanta. I want John Collins.
The Pat Williams trade is what really gets me. I think you want, if you're gonna trade somebody, you're trying to get the highest potential young guy you can, or the most picks that you can get.
Yeah,
with the direction that the Pistons are moving, kind of like we were talking earlier with the Pacers. And Pat Williams is hard to beat right now. Outside of the John Collins, John Collins is sort of already developed, but the potential that Pat Williams has is higher than pretty much anything else that I can think of. And you could seriously have him as a piece to build around.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about if you do the Bulls trade, and it's a polarizing conversation. Like Bulls fans are like, do we give up Patrick Williams? Do we not give up Patrick Williams? It's like, well, if you don't, you're not getting Jeremy. Fingers crossed, at least. I would hope that Troy Weaver has the presence of mind to not be an idiot. But then you have to bite the bullet and realize, okay, well, we're not seeing him until next year. That's okay. That is okay with me. If I know that all I have to do is hit sim season, which I already did, and mentally on this Pistons year, and just get to next year, and you'll have like Paolo Banchero and Patrick Williams and Miles Bridges. Sounds good. I'm in on that.
I don't know if I agree with the Miles Bridges part of that take. Everything else, though, you're on point with. No, I've actually started to really understand what people. You know how there'll be trade rumors, or someone might leave in free agency, and then all the people on Twitter are like, "He's not leaving. Don't say that." I'm like, why do people get so upset about that? And then it's happening to Miles Bridges now because the Hornets were dumb and decided that they didn't want to pay him last offseason. Yeah. And now I'm going through the same thing. Do you think that Miles Bridges is going to play for Detroit?
I'm dead ass serious. You know where he's from?
I do know where he's from.
From Flint. Flint's finest. Also the best rapper in the league. Just need to throw that out there.
He is the best rapper in the league.
It's not close. And people are like, what about Dame? What about Dame?
Thank you.
Like the take of like Dame is an NBA player who raps. Miles Bridges is a rapper who plays in the league. Facts.
No. It is, but he's from that area. He's from Flint, but
yeah. And him and Josh Jackson are already friends. So like they almost went to Michigan State together, and then Josh Jackson bitched out and got a bag from Kansas.
I think his heart is in Charlotte. I don't know him personally, but that's the read that I get on.
But is that where the money is?
I get on Miles Bridges.
Is that where the money is?
It would be where the money is. I mean, I could pay him.
Listen, man. My heart is in Cleveland, but if I get a bag to go out to LA, I'm going to LA.
But
there you go.
That's like opposite. That's like
Detroit is not
in Cleveland. That like Detroit. I don't know. What you talked about Harden you threw him out as an arbitrary trade name earlier, and I'm sure you've heard the Harden to Philadelphia for Ben Simmons rumors. I was listening to David Aldrich and Howard Beck talk on the Athletic podcast about how they were like, we're hearing this not just from the Sixers to like stir the pot. We're hearing this has legs. So I'm taking those pretty seriously, and I think it's a fascinating dynamic. If you add like Simmons to that Nets team or Harden to the Philadelphia team. Do you have any thoughts on that trade, or do you think it has legs? Or if it were to go down hypothetically, how would you feel about it?
I believe it 100%. I didn't doubt it for a second because I think at this point, the book is kind of out on Daryl Morey and how he operates and what he wants to achieve from a general manager standpoint and operating a basketball team. And then it becomes a conversation of like, well, do you really think that he is enjoying having one of his best assets sitting out? And by the time that you can actually trade James Harden, like, do you think, that he just wants to keep Ben Simmons around? Yeah, I do. I think if it's about a means to an end with Daryl Morey and he knows that in the end he can get what he wants and that thing is James Harden, yeah, he's going to do whatever it takes. There is a reason that we have seen which I question the validity of some of the packages for what it's worth that we've seen that have been offered for Ben Simmons, but we've seen some of them have been generous. Some of them have been a little bit lackluster. There is a reason that Daryl Morey is saying no to everything. It's a leverage game. So when we get into the summer and James Harden does his like, yeah, I'm going to opt out and like, I could still come back to Brooklyn, but I just need to keep my options open. I think the sign and trade is like just objectively happening. At this point, sealed and signed. She's not my lover like Billie Jean, but the kid is mine. James Harden is going to be a Philadelphia 76er. Like that shit is 100% happening. And in the conversation of like, well, who's better, James Harden James Harden on the Sixers or Ben Simmons on the Nets? Like which team is better with, I don't, that's a conversation for a different day. First, we actually have to get there. First, we have to make sure like that, okay, this is actually going to happen. I also think it's possible because like, it's fucking weird that 90% of the NBA has been on record being like, Kyrie is a great dude, love him, like nothing but love for Kyrie Irving. And then when it comes to like actually playing with him, it's like, do you think KD's not getting tired of this? James Harden is already tired of this. It's fucking perplexing to me that like these shenanigans weren't new when KD and Kyrie picked Brooklyn. Like, KD had to have known I have a finite amount of time left. And especially right now with the workload and it led to him getting fucking hurt, with the workload that he's taking on, at what point are you just like, we got to fucking shake this shit up because I'm running out of time. And this fucking guy is banned for half of our games. Like, there's going to be a point where and people have said this before, we're going to be in the fucking Eastern Conference Finals, the NBA Finals, whatever it is. And Kyrie's going to be, assuming they don't pay the fines and everything stays the way that it has been, Kyrie's going to fucking be sitting games 1 and 2 in game 7. What the fuck? And the Nets are just fine with that. They're like, well, fuck, we got to eat this. That's dumb. I don't want to play with that guy. So I wouldn't blame James Harden for leaving.
Yeah.
I agree. I think that's what makes the Simmons like rumors so interesting is because Simmons is like the only other guy who does shit like that.
Yeah.
Like if you were to add Kyrie and Ben Simmons, like you've got like those two together. That's my like one hang up from this because I think it makes sense and apparently it has legs and apparently they've been discussing this, but it's like from the Nets perspective, I get it if you have KD and Kyrie and you have like two primary scorers, maybe you'd rather have someone more defensive minded than like a third scorer. Like, is that kind of redundant for what it is? And maybe it makes sense to add Simmons, but it's like, aren't you kind of sick of like if Harden is out, are you kind of sick of Kyrie and do you want to add another guy who's just not reliably there every night? That's like my one hang up because I really do think it makes sense for both squads to add like a Harden and Embiid. That'd be a killer duo. And if KD and Kyrie are there, you kind of would like maybe a more defensive minded guy instead of another scorer. But I just don't know if the personalities work.
My thing with that is like, if you've got two primary scores and you want to add somebody who works well, maybe more off the ball, and who you don't have to like build around as much. And the whole time people have been saying, "Oh, someone just needs to build around Ben Simmons," but then people are really eager to throw him into a team that is not going to build around him at all. I still think that a lot of the times with Simmons, people see the skill set that he has that can make him an elite player, and they know that he doesn't really play like that, but they hope if he just goes somewhere else, he'll change how he plays. And maybe he does. I don't know. I can't predict the future. Yeah. But all he's shown up to this point is that he doesn't want to do that. So I'd be very nervous about throwing him into the pot with the Nets.
Is there anything to be said? I'm not saying anything. I'm just throwing this out there. seeing how you guys react to it. Is there anything to be said about a guy in James Harden who getting traded from Oklahoma City to Houston was not his problem? That was a Rocket. I'm sorry, that was a Thunder thing.
Mm-hmm.
But then he holds the Rockets hostage and makes the Nets pay his ransom because that's where he wants to play. Quickly realizes he nopes his ass out of there in a year and a half. He's only been there for a year. By the time the summer comes around, a year and a half. And then goes to Philadelphia. Is there something to be said about, like, damn, James Harden kind of a dickhead? Or was it just like a, fuck, I was wrong about this, my bad, guys, I want to go play with Daryl Morey again?
I'm a big James Harden fan.
You're the only
James
one.
Harden fan. I don't know why. I love James Harden. I don't know. I feel like at some point it probably was just a bad spot.
Sure.
Because I felt like when he was in Houston with Chris Paul, things were working really well.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's like a horrible guy to play with. It's just like when you have to play with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, you're probably not as happy as when you were playing with Chris Paul.
Well, it's also because he's tremendously out of shape. But like,
well, I think Harden's realized knows his clock is he's only got so long. He's not playing forever. And he wants to win a championship. And I would argue that maybe he feels like he already should have one. And he just got bad luck with the Chris Paul injury. So then he's like,
yeah.
And so he's like, okay, I'm going to go. Like, I'm done. I've paid my dues with the Rockets. And I really think he did pay his dues with the Rockets. He stuck with them for a long time. And he's like, I'm just going to go. I'm going to go to the super team. I'm going to get my ring. He gets there. And then all of a sudden, Kyrie is hurt year one. And then now Kyrie can't play all the games because he won't get vaccinated. And maybe he's
a lot of
looking at
last
the
year he wasn't even
76ers.
hurt. He took like the mental health break, which is, I guess, I don't have like an opinion on it whether he did that or not. Like if you need it, take it. But like last year, it wasn't all injury. It was, some of it was like Kyrie just being healthy and not being there. So
I mean,
that's
those
kind
guys,
of all it's
they
been
never
with him
play
since
together.
Harden got there.
No.
The number of games that big three has played together is unbelievably low.
Yeah.
So maybe he's saying, all right, my options are stick on this Nets team with Kevin Durant, who's injury prone, Kyrie, who is both extremely injury prone. He hasn't played like he has not played his best basketball in the playoffs since like 2017, since he was last on the Cavs.
Yeah. I think just to backtrack a little bit, it's like 17-18 when Chris Paul has the game 6 hamstring injury. That was the best shot the Rockets have had at a championship since the mid 90s. And I firmly believe that they were the best team in they weren't the best team in basketball that year, but they would have beaten the Cavs. It would have been a better series than the 4-0 that we got.
They would have beaten the Cavs.
But they would have beaten the Cavs.
They would have beaten
And so
the
this, like, should James Harden have a ring? Fuck, yes, he should have a ring. 100% he should. And it's going to really suck that Rockets team is going to get lost in the fold because of how truly damn good they were. And so it's like, and you also wonder, it's like, he couldn't have forced himself to Philadelphia, or fuck yeah, he could have. I forgot that that was in the mix. So okay, so Daryl, I'm walking myself through this in real time, so I apologize. So okay, the timeline was Daryl Morey leaves. Him and like Tillman Fertitta fucking hated each other, and so Daryl Morey just like left. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. And then he goes to Philly. Oh, that's right. He said he was going to spend. He's like, yeah, I'm going to go spend some more time with my family. Like, no more basketball for me. And his ass was on the Sixers a week later. And then the James Harden trade rumors start coming out, and it's like Brooklyn or Philly. And that's right, because I don't remember which side it was, but they wouldn't give up Ben, because it was literally Ben for James Harden. Boom, do it. I think James Harden just really wants to play for Daryl Morey. Like that's it. I think he just wants to be in his organization, and that's as simple as it is.
And now the Sixers are willing to get rid of Ben Simmons because
that whole situation's changed where now all of a sudden
he's expendable.
You don't have. It's not like you either get James Harden or you have Ben Simmons. Instead, you get James Harden or you don't really have Ben Simmons.
Or you have Joel Embiid, and that's it.
I would say, though, that if Harden's concerns, because I said this just a second ago, if Harden's concerns are really about the Nets staying healthy in the playoffs or whatever, going to a team whose number one player is Joel Embiid, who I love, but is undeniably ridiculously injury prone, is probably just as big a risk.
Yeah.
I think we're about running out of time. I don't know if you had anything else that you wanted to talk about.
I would say give us an NBA Finals prediction is my is my one more question.
I think it might be a repeat. I think it's going to be the Bucks. It's going to be the Bucks no matter what, and it just comes down to the Sons of the Warriors. Would not be
say
surprised
the Suns,
if it's
please,
a repeat.
and say they'll win this time, please.
Sure. No, they're not going to win.
Yes.
I think the Bucks. The Bucks are going to run it back 100%. But I think it might be. I think it'll be Phoenix and Milwaukee again. If not, it'll just be Phoenix and Milwaukee and Golden State. Yeah.
I don't think I've heard a single person. I'm not saying it's a bad take. I don't think I've heard a single person predict the repeat yet. I don't think I've heard almost anyone say it's going to be Suns or Bucks in the finals. Period. Those are both very unpopular opinions right now.
You got to go against the grain. But I also believe it. I'm not just saying it just to say it. Like they won the chip, and I was like, they're running it back. This is they'll just have like Dante DiVincenzo now. They're going to be better, and then they got Grayson Allen, and it's this whole thing. So yeah, I've been on the Giannis is going to win MVP, and the Bucks are going to run it back train since like July. I feel very good about it.
Matt, I don't even know. What is your NBA Finals pick?
My NBA Finals pick? I would say Warriors Bucks right now. That's my prediction. I think the Warriors figure it out. I think Clay coming back has screwed him up a little bit right now, but that team is very deep. They're loaded. And I think Curry eventually stops shooting bad. And then in the East, there's like 4 teams, and you're like, whoever stays healthiest is probably going to win. But that's a lame prediction to give. So I trust Giannis. He had like a big injury last year, and he still came back and was able to play. So I guess I trust him to stay the healthiest more than like an Embiid or Kevin Durant or whoever.
I mean, it sounds like you're both wrong. I don't really care who comes out of the West, but the Cavs are taking it all. So
there it is.
I'll go Warriors Heat. That is my. Oh, don't look at me like that. Heat go crazy.
If they trade for Jeremy Grant, I'll be fucking terrified of them.
They're already super scary to me with everyone there that has the finals experience, and they just have like Lowry and Jimmy Butler, like some basketball geniuses on the court. So when it gets to crunch time and you need to like batten down the hatches and win a series, I think the addition of Lowry can do, and Hero's playing so much better than they were last year.
6th man of the year.
Yeah. I think Spoelstra, obviously I have a lot of respect for him as a coach. I just think they've just got the guys that I would like to go to war with, and sure. I've been high on the Heat since the beginning of the season. They're the 1 seed in the East right now, so I got to go with the Heat, and I'd love to go with my Suns, but realistically, I think with Clay back, the Warriors are beating him in a 7-game series, but they could win. They could win.
Clay's a baller. Well, I think that pretty much wraps things up for us here. We do have to ask one more thing. Your name is Nick. Why do you go by Motown Noah?
Who do I look like? Do I look like anybody to you guys?
Our producer called it.
Yeah. For those who, I'm assuming this isn't a visual podcast. For those, is it? Cool. Okay. Well, if you're only listening to this, then I strike a shocking resemblance to Joakim Noah. So I know this, and Pistons fans have called me Motown Noah for like almost 4 years now, I think, 3 or 4 years. Okay. So it's just a nickname that I was given. And that was the fun thing about YouTube, was people not knowing what my name was. I was a big fan of that. It was very funny to me. What wasn't funny was when somebody in public was like, they like recognized me and tried to get my attention by saying Noah. And so I wasn't responsive to it. And so I just looked like an asshole who was like ignoring them. But I was like, no, that's just not my name. And I just don't respond to it. So yeah.
Okay. But yes, our producer called it. So that's cool. But seriously, thanks. It was an awesome episode to have you on. And hopefully we can have you on again sometime.
Yeah, appreciate you guys. Thank you very much. This was very fun.
Thanks for coming on.
Once again, want to give a big thanks to Nick for coming on the show. I love when we bring on guests. I think it's a ton of fun. And I think that pretty much wraps things up for us. As always.
Is there one more? Do we have time for one more thing?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, let's do it.
I just wanted to talk a little bit more about HelloFresh.
It was good. No, it was legitimately good. I don't make dinner. I made dinner tonight.
HelloFresh has changed your life.
No, on God.
I hope the HelloFresh people aren't listening to this, like the higher ups. Just like I imagine like a bunch of old people in like the high rise, just like listening to the podcast.
This will possibly do well.
Let's see if they got the.
We're talking about it more. We're talking about it more than we were supposed to. That's got to be a good thing.
Yes.
It's gonna. We've talked about it at the point where it's gonna have to be like one of the bullet points in the tweet.
We're gonna have to
when we promote the episode.
Right, no, it's like
It'll have to be
topics of discussion.
AFC Championship game, HelloFresh,
and then the bonus interview with Noah, Motown Noah.
I think that pretty much wraps things up for us. As always, tons and tons of content coming away on all platforms. Just a reminder for you all to do the Stay Hot shout outs for Sunday. You know, if you're in the AFC Championship, Bengals fans, especially. When was the last time y'all were here? I want to hear calls from Bengals fans. If you're not in the AFC Championship, you can call in.
If you're a basketball fan, you can always call in.
If you're a basketball fan, you can always call in. You know, if you're a De'Aaron Fox fan, I would love to hear from you. If you're a Cavs fan, I'd love to hear from you. But as always, tons of content coming away on all platforms. We'll be back to recap championship weekend on Monday. Don't miss out on all the great content coming away on all platforms. We'll see you soon. As always, from Corn Boy, Gambling Addiction Boy. No, as always, from Corn Boy, Bird Boy. He's back to his bird watching days.
I'm back.
And of course, Lemon Boy. We will catch you all on the flippity flop.